Hey everyone, how are you? Good to see you. Did you watch the episode of Cold Justice? It was pretty good. Now, you may be wondering why I didn't come on an hour ago. And the reason is I went through, took me a couple of hours last night to find the case because there's no information in the synopsis that they gave out. They didn't give a victim name. So it took a bit of searching to find a murder that happened in 2007 that there's no information on. And when you search it, his name was Frank Halcar Sr. And they only posted a thing on the Oxygen site 1 hour ago. And that's the main like article. There are no other articles. There is a couple in the Northwest Times or NWL Times. There's 3 articles from 2007 on that particular site, and then after that, there's an Oxygen one that they posted an hour ago. That's it. Nothing else. That's all there is on the case. And I thought, well, if we're going to do that, yeah, look, I can't even watch the video. If we're gonna do a watch party, I'm gonna sit here for an hour and not be able to tell you anything about the case. So I was like, "Well, we'll come on after, and I'll give you some details of what I could find." Because always it's, like, boring. Oh my god, what happened to the camera? Hold on. Hey. Alright, there we go. Hey, guys, sorry, the my cat's been playing with the cameras. Um, yeah, it is a little interesting. Hey, Summer Thunder. Hey, guys. Hey, everyone in chat. Moonlight View, Emily Nubb, Marilyn Landis, Flying DJ, Beth B, Danny Mitchell, James Avery, Who's a Girl, Diane Marie. Did I miss anyone? I probably did. Marilyn Landis. Yeah, so this article was only posted 1 hour ago, and it's probably because the episode was starting. So they posted it so there's information when people finish the episode, they can come back and read about it. But if you go back further, there's yeah, three articles from the NWItimes.com. Northwest is what I'm guessing. And they all date back to 2007. And I have that information here. It's basically a case report from early back then. Now, I read these last night, and it says, uh, it basically says that someone attacked him, and I'll read it here. He and his department assumed Frank was the victim of violence and not an accident. Police were already pursuing a person of interest in this case. Obviously, with blunt force trauma to the back of the head, that's what we were expecting to find as a ruling from the Lake County coroner. They're talking about he was hit in the head with a sledgehammer, not a big one, like one of those little ones, those little handheld ones. It says Frank was found dead Wednesday afternoon in a pool of blood on his porch. Now, when I was reading that, I was like, wow, they found him outside. But in the show, they demonstrated that the porch wasn't what we would think of as like an open space. It's actually like one of those, like a sunroom, if that makes sense. It's fully enclosed. It's yeah, like a little. Before you get to the main entrance of the house, there's like a little, yeah, like sunroom type thing. He was found in there, and it looks like they've been chasing the same suspect basically since this happened, and that is Brandon Scoggins, if that's is that the right name? Hold on. Yeah, Scrogin. Brandon Scrogin is the guy that was he's been the only suspect. I don't know why the case on TV made it sound like, oh, this is this guy. Maybe it could be him. Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it's dramatic storytelling, but they've been chasing him for since 2007. And the articles and information and court documents that are around bear that out. He is a real nasty individual. He got done for actually, I can show you. Hold on. Where is it? Here. So this is his case from 2012, and the case summary here, this is the main suspect of the other case. It says during the late evening hours of March 10th, 2012, and early morning hours of March 11th, 2012, defendant Brandon Scrogin took a vehicle of a man of whom he met in Lake County Bar and drove it to Porter County. This case is from Lake County, so there you go. Where he committed various criminal acts against his ex-girlfriend, VM. VM is the girl that we saw in the episode of Cold Justice. I'm pretty sure. Now I can't verify it for sure, but I think she's the girl you see about halfway through. They interview her and they say, "Oh man, she's still very scared of him, even 10 years later." Well, it's 2024. This case is from 2012. So about 10 years, right? So yes, I would say she is the ex-girlfriend that they talked to on the show tonight. And it says on May 4th, 2012, Scrogin was charged with Class D felony arson, Class D felony intimidation, Class A misdemeanor criminal mischief. On June 29th, 2012, the state filed an additional charge of Class C felony receiving stolen auto parts. The state also subsequently alleged that Scrogin was a habitual offender. The trial court held a uh, trifunicated, probably pronouncing that wrong, jury trial on August 6th through 9th, 2012, after which they found Scrogin guilty as charged and determined that he was an habitual offender. And on January 4th, 2013, the trial sentenced Scrogin to an aggregated term of 19 and 1/2 years in prison. So he's got a 20-year prison term already. That's why in the show you see him. He's an inmate. He's wearing inmate clothes and he's serving a 20-year sentence. So this guy was already a very, you know, awful person. And the fact that he victimized and abused someone who was trying to help him, uh, give him a place to stay, keep him out of trouble when he was only like 20 years old, and he killed him, basically. But Cold Justice worked on this case last year. They sent it. Did you notice at the end of the episode, if you did watch it, they didn't do that thing where they send it up to the DA? It just said, "Oh, yeah, we've got great information and yeah, we should be able to close this out." And then it's almost a year later since they worked on this, or maybe 9 months later, and there has been no movement in this particular case that I can find. There's been nothing, no charges. Yeah, it says here the Scrogin has not yet been charged with Halcarz murder. They've done really nothing. I think the DA probably thinks there's not enough evidence, and a lot of the case is very circumstantial. When you look at what they presented during the show, they had trouble tracking down witnesses. They had trouble tracking down old paperwork, like credit card transactions. That was one of their main points, is that Brandon stole a credit card from Frank and then used it in the days after the murder. But when they contacted the bank said they only keep records for 7 years, and they don't actually. I don't know why the police department doesn't have it, but they don't have it. So the only way they could admit it into evidence was if they could find someone from that era that worked at one of these places where the card was used, and then call them in as a witness. And they would have to have remembered that they saw the card and the name on the card and knew it wasn't Brandon's, I guess. So very interesting case. I don't really understand how they're going to get a trial out of this, but Frank deserves justice for his death, and it would be really nice if they could somehow close the case, but they really have a hill in front of them. And while they were all high-fiving at the end and, "Oh my god, we did the best job ever. We spent a week and we cracked this thing." I really think they got more work in front of them. I don't believe it's as open as shut as what they think it is. And I'm not a prosecutor or anything. I just, you know, I know it's just made for TV. I know a lot of it, and especially the ending, you know, it's just to close up an episode of a TV show. They've probably got like another couple of years worth of chasing stuff down, lawyer stuff, court filings, but it would be nice to have it closed. Now I have some photos from the show, and I will show it to you. I don't want to give everything away because it's going to be on in 2 hours on the West Coast, and I don't want to spoil it, like everything for people. Now I thought I'd show you some photos of Frank. Here, apparently this is when he was getting ready to go off to war as a World War II vet, and to me that's they did actually show that at the end of the show that look at this guy at like 20 years old. He was ready to defend his country and possibly die for it. And then you have Brandon Scrogin, same age, and he's stealing from an elderly man and possibly murdering him. And you look at that dynamic and the difference between them, and you see two very different people in the way the way they are. And I have another one here of an older photo of Frank. Here's Frank and his wife on their wedding day. Wedding day, I guess so. I'm not sure what this is, but maybe he got married later in life. Or he was at like a child's wedding or something. But this looks like they're all clapping them, so I don't know. But they're at a fancy function, and I'm guessing that might be his wife before she died. And what a lovely, lovely photo of both of them. Happier times. That's what I would caption that. Happier times. It's a nice photo. And here we go. Yeah, so did anyone in the chat get to watch the episode, or am I just basically telling you a case that no one has any idea about? Oh, it might be one of those ones, when people redo their vows or whatever, or they have commitment ceremonies. Maybe it's something like that, or maybe it's a relative's wedding or something like that. But it's a nice photo, and there was some more gruesome photos, but I didn't want to do that. I thought, what's the best way we can show Frank? And I was like, well, we could show him at the best times of his life. And here's a photo of him with his faithful animal. There's his puppy. Actually, I have a better version of that without the stupid logo. Let me grab that. Here we go. Maybe it's this one. No. Let's see. Yes, that's the same thing. Sorry. There we go. But anyway, there you go. I think that was taken not too far from his death. I think it might have been a few years earlier, and that was him and his dog. Hey, Tharvi, how are you? You guys didn't get to watch? I'm so sorry about that. It is on the West Coast in an hour and 35 minutes. If you are on the West Coast, you can watch the episode in 1 hour and 35 minutes. So tune into Oxygen. Uh, actually, I had a little bit of a starstruck moment last night. I'm gonna show you a little bit of something, and then I'm gonna read the Oxygen article about the case. Here. You guys wanna see something really cool? I almost fell out of my chair when I saw this. Hold on, where is it? Come on, computer. Work with me. Where are you? Here? Let me just double check. Yes. Kelly Siegler liked my reply to the video last night about the episode, and I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, "Oh my god, she liked my reply." And, I'm a huge fan of the show, so that was a really, cool moment. Actually, it's really weird. I've had some weird people like my account recently, including John Cena. John Cena followed me the other day. Is that his name, John Cena? I'm not a wrestling dude. I hope that's right. Yeah, 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 John Cena. He followed my account the other day. I didn't follow him first. He followed me, and I was like, "Why are you following me? I don't even watch wrestling or watch movies." But I followed him back. Maybe he wants something. I don't know. Yeah, Kelly Siegler. There you go. How cool is that? I thought that was really cool, especially on the night of the premiere episode of season 7. I think she was going through checking what fans were watching and excited about the show, trying to get a vibe of, how many people are gonna watch. So, yeah, it's interesting, for this show to be so, popular, it's not that popular online. There's not a lot of chatter about it. If you go to, Twitter, there's not a lot of people not talking about it. It doesn't get that much, international airplay. Guys, give me 1 second. Yeah, yeah, John Cena, I don't get it. I don't even know who he is, so I mean, I know him from the movies, but that's it. Hey, Sienna, how are you? Let's go. But yeah, the one of, Kelly was really cool. Let's go. Thavi, we're talking about the episode of Cold Justice that just aired on Oxygen, and I'm about to read a little bit about it, and then we're gonna move on. I have other cases that we're gonna go to. I just wanted to cover this a little bit. Where is it? So yeah, it says here. Wait, let's go back up here. Okay, so this area here, they don't have the house anymore. The house has been demolished, or maybe the land has been redeveloped. So they had to line it out with basically cinder blocks and rope. And they did like a crime scene demonstration of what could have happened. But they're saying that grocery store receipts place the time of death around 2 p.m. on October 26, 2007. Halcar's missing credit card was first used that evening at 10:34 p.m. First at the Waterfront Lounge in Lake Station. Records showed a $50 purchase followed by 8 additional bar purchases at another bar and a gas station until uh, the early morning hours of October 27th, 2007, the last being at 2:49 a.m. So they showed on the show, and I didn't get it unfortunately, that straight after the murder, his credit card was used a bunch at different alcohol places. So getting like rounds of drinks, or I don't know, other things at a bar. And it was interesting that at one point he got a little cocky with the card, and he went on to Western Union online and transferred money to himself for $500. So he really tried to drain that credit card as soon as he had it. And he also used it the next day at a Little Saver Mart, followed by more bar charges at the waterfront. Unfortunately, when they went back to interview people at this establishment, it's no longer there, and they don't know where the workers, they don't know where they are, what their names are. So tracking them down is almost impossible. And it says, one day before Frank's body was found at his home, two purchases totaling a little over $500 occurred with Western Union between October 30 and the early hour morning of October 31st. The stolen card was used at 3 gas stations for 6 more purchases uh, sorry, it was used at 3 gas stations and then for 6 more purchases at the waterfront. That bloody waterfront, it keeps coming up in the, credit cards. And then the last transaction took place at 1:07 a.m., hours before Frank was found. Unfortunately for investigators, the bank no longer held the records that could have proven their theory, and there were no reported eyewitnesses to Scrogin using the stolen card. Yeah, they couldn't track anyone down. The bar had long ceased to exist, and trying to ask someone, "Hey, do you remember a guy coming in here, what is it, like 18 years ago, using a stolen credit card?" Your chance of getting someone to go, "Oh, yeah, I remember that," is probably, very slim. So they tracked down one of Scroggins' girlfriends who described Scroggin as a domineering man. The woman, whose identity has not been revealed on Cold Justice, claims Scroggin often talked about sneaking up behind unsuspecting victims and striking them in the head, taking their money regardless whether the victim was dead or alive. Not quite how they described it on the show. They described it as striking the victim in the head and then, like, taking their wallet out of their back pocket. They were probably just trying to make it seem more, you know, connected to Frank, but it is a bit of a gruesome thing that he would go around telling women that's what he would do for money. Go around striking people in the head and then taking their, valuables. They say that sounds like a lot of what happened with Frank. Yeah, it does. Investigators also looked into the woman Scroggin allegedly had a fling with in the days surrounding Frank's murder. According to the woman, whose identity also remains concealed, she said, "I do remember he had used my computer at one point while he was here. He had a charge card. The name was the same person that was in the paper," she said. The paper she's referring to is that apparently Scroggin had told her, "Hey, look at this in the paper. They think I'm a murder suspect, but you should hear it from me first." And there you go. I don't know what kind of, I would have been like, I'm busy. I have to leave now. But I guess maybe she ran in those circles at that time. It says, yeah, so here we go. This is the thing that links it back to the court document I just showed you. It says Detective Peake visited the prison that housed Scroggin for charges related to incidents involving his ex-girlfriend, including arson and intimidation. That is that court document I just showed you before from 2012. That was the the case of it's Brandon Scroggin versus the state of Indiana, and that's 2012. They also had a court of appeals in March 31st, 2015. So he did appeal his original sentence. I think he appealed it for being uh, like too much. They were saying like, oh, it was too harsh of a sentence. I think that got upheld though, and that's why he's still in jail. And so there you go. I don't know how they're going to link it or if they're going to be able to, get charges, but he does deserve to have some justice for his murder. Just got on oxygen? Yeah, I mean, to hit what is it, 89-year-old man hit in the head with a sledgehammer, that's pretty bad. All right, give me 1 second. Very gruesome, right? Imagine hitting an elderly old man with that hammer. I mean, it's a shame I didn't get a photo of it during the show of the hammer, but it was like one of those, it wasn't like those real long ones with a, you know, 3-foot handle or whatever. It was one of those little handheld, for breaking up cinder blocks or, something like that. Not very big, but it had the big, sledgehammer head on it. So it's a shame I can't show you the sneak peek, but and I'm gonna just read something here. By the way, on the show tonight, they had a different normally she has one of her friends that is the second host on the show. This time she had a different person, a defense attorney, Murray Newman, and he's been a legal like a person on the show that's been on there to uh, advise them in the background for the entire run of Cold Justice. And this is the first time he's been on the front of the camera, and normally he's just someone who kind of vets their information as they work through a case. And yeah, this is the first time he was actually starring in the show. I thought he did a good job. I thought he was very interesting to hear it from the defense side of it. But it's very interesting to know that they also look at that. They look at what a defense could strike down in a trial, and there was a few things that came up through the show, and he was very much like, "You can't use that." He goes, "I would destroy that," or a defense attorney would just rip that apart, and it was interesting that, you know, they really do kind of take that very seriously. I guess it's a waste of time otherwise if you didn't look at that, you'd bring it to court and they'd just be like, "No," and then you'd be back at square one. So that was, an interesting turn for the show. It says here Frank was remembered by those who knew him best as a sweet elderly man who served in the US Army from 1941 to 1945 during World War II. Twice married, twice widowed. Oh, how sad. The East Chicago native lived alone in Lake Station, Indiana, about 30 miles southeast of Chicago, but stayed in close contact with his blended family. Yeah, so Scrogin had actually had a pretty horrible life himself. His mother actually, stopped being here on the earth by her own volition. That's the way I have to say it now. On Mother's Day, when Scrogin was just a young boy. I mean, that is really, really tragic. It really is. And I don't, maybe that's why Scroggin is the way he is today. The trauma of losing his mum that young, maybe it did something to him. I don't know. Apparently, a lot of people who know Scroggin say that he has no empathy for other people. And we know what that is sort of hinting at. His last communication, this is Frank. His last communication happened on October 26, 2007, when speaking with his step granddaughter, Devon, on the phone. He was found dead at his home on Halloween. On October 31st, a friend found Frank face down, and he had a large hole in the back of his head, probably about 2 or 3 inches wide. He also had a laceration on his forehead, so that it could have been from him falling when he was struck. The victim had no defensive wounds and a back pocket turned inside out, suggested to investigators that Frank had his wallet stolen. So that's where the credit card charges come in. It appeared whoever killed Frank on the afternoon of October 26 did so as the victim went back and forth to his car to bring in groceries, striking him in the doorway between the home's entrance and an enclosed porch. Whether the assailant was lying in wait or followed him to the residence remains unknown. A sledgehammer believed to be the murder weapon was discovered near train tracks behind Frank's home during the initial investigation. Wait, what happened just here? Maybe we can. Yeah, damn it. I'm gonna have to get my VPN out at some point. Now that they never used to geo block, but now they do. It says Siegel and Newman and members of the Lake Station Police Department pored over records from 2007. Witness statements, including individuals from the local Veterans of Foreign Wars Hall, the VFW, where Frank spent time with fellow veterans. At least one claimed that Frank might have mentioned neighborhood kids stealing from his residence. So they looked into that and they couldn't really verify anything, but they said that he was a victim, an easy victim because of his age, mobility, and his sort of openness of his property. So kids could get onto his property and mess with him, or get into his shed or whatever. It says, but other hold on. It says others suspected the step grandson, 23-year-old Brandon Scrogin, who lived in a small trailer behind Frank's home. Scrogin denies killing his grandfather. According to the LSPD, Scrogin had a long rap sheet that included convictions for theft and substance abuse. They said, I got the feeling that Frank was still trying to be kind to Brandon because his wife would have wanted it that way. Reports showed that in August 2007, Frank suspected Scrogin of stealing his firearm, a welder, and later accused the step's grandson of stealing his bank card. So Frank took this kid in, and all he did was steal from him the entire time. And Frank put up with it for a while, and then basically asked him to leave. When they interviewed him in prison, he denied that Frank ever asked him to leave the property. But family members all said that Frank had asked him to leave a month before the murder. So there you go. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else here. Uh, the the cops are saying that it was absolutely an ambush murder. This was such a cheap shot, brutal, cruel attack. It's heartbreaking that you have to do that to an 89-year-old war veteran lying on the ground. It's unspeakable. And what they're talking about is one of the hits to Frank was when he was on the ground after being hit in the head with a sledgehammer. The person with the weapon went back and smacked him in the head again. Not, sort of in the heat of a struggle or anything like that, just standing above him with an old man on the ground from above and striking him in the skull. I mean, I get what they're saying. That takes another level of brutality to do that to a person that's already subdued on the ground. They're already immobilized. You don't need to hit them again. And for you to do that again with a sledgehammer, it says a lot about the attacker. Uh, Apparently, according to the step granddaughter, there had been screaming matches between Frank and Scrogin. Investigators wondered if Scrogin killed and robbed Frank, fueled by rage after the victim previously accused Scrogin of stealing from him. So there you go. Um, like they say at the end here, still no charge of murder for Frank in this case, and they still haven't really gone after Brandon. I think there's no rush because Brandon is in prison on a 19-year prison sentence. I just think they're like, well, we have time. We have time to get this right. And I don't know. Maybe they're going to keep working on it and hope that they get more. But he basically, in the show, they play a recording of Brandon in an interview. He admits to using the credit card the days after Frank was murdered. But he says that the credit card that he used in the days after the murder was one that he found in Frank's home and wasn't one that was taken from Frank's body. He said he broke in when Frank wasn't there and took the card and then had been using it. The police don't believe that for a second, but they are happy that he admitted on record that he definitely had the card and those transactions were his. So there you go. You are welcome. I agree. I think the way we treat our older people in society is a direct reflection of who we are. It really is. And for me, anyway, I think our older people have a lot to share. They have a lot to um, give to other people, and they just want to be appreciated. They just want to be listened to, and they just want to be respected. And I think that's what we could do better at, even as people my age, late 30s, early 40s. I think we could do better at being appreciative of our older people and also listening and helping and spending time with them too. I think often they feel like they're invisible and that they're no longer part of society. We have to do a better job of bringing them in to our communities and doing more around them. And I think that's what this case highlighted for me, because apparently Frank was often alone at that property with Brandon on their own, and he said he was scared of Brandon to other family members. So for someone to say that, I mean, he said that I'm scared of Brandon. I'm an 80 something year old man. What if he attacked me? I couldn't defend myself. And it's almost like he had a premonition because that's exactly what happened. All right. I have another case that we can talk about. If you are going to watch Cold Justice in a little while, enjoy the episode. It is a really good one. And I hope next week's episode has a more detailed back history. That way we can come on an hour earlier than this show today and do the sort of watch party. But this one was so difficult with no background information. I would have sat here for an hour not telling you anything and had a blank live stream. We would have just sat here going, "Oh, that's interesting. Wow. Oh, did you see that?" Like that would have been the worst show in the world for everyone to watch. That does seem to be the case, Marlene. Um, Brandon seemed like a problem that no one in the family wanted to deal with. It definitely seems like they shoved him on to elderly Frank, and maybe the family regrets that these days. Me too. I love the show Cold Justice. It's a great show. Although I'm under no illusion that what you see on the show is 100% real. Please don't come for me in the comments saying, it's reality TV, it's not fully real. I know. And I have seen people who have been on the show come out after and say that they were unhappy with how you know, the show dealt with their case. So I get it. I know. Yeah. I hope we'll see charges at some point. That would be great. But yeah, I will actually, can I put this in the comments? Yes. Here is a link to his Court of Appeals document. If you, so we have it preserved. There you go. I'll put it on the screen. There's his Court of Appeal. And there's another one. Is it this one? This is the one from 2009. This is the one he was arrested November 2nd, 2007 on an outstanding warrant. November 2nd, that's only a few days after Frank was found dead. So this must be when he was arrested and they were trying to get him for Frank's murder. So that's this one. That's that one from 2009. They arrested him for the 2009 one was, where is it? Da, da, da. Here. Police arrested Scrogin on an outstanding warrant. During a search incident to arrest, officers discovered a folded dollar bill containing cocaine. On January 3rd, 2008, the state charged Scrogin with 3 counts of possession of cocaine, 2 as a Class B felony and 1 as a Class D felony. A few months later, the state added a habitual offender allegation. Apparently, he pled guilty. I'm not sure. Apparently, he what was it? The agreement was that neither misdemeanor treatment nor an alternate sentencing program would be an option for Brandon. The court took the plea and agreement under advisement and scheduled a hearing for August 12th. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison during that one. So Apparently, during the sentencing, drug addiction was used as a mitigating circumstance, and his criminal history was used as an aggravating circumstance. So they might have basically been a wash, and that's why he got the 3-year prison sentence. So he's got an extensive history, 19 years on one, 3 years on this one, and then he has another one. He's got so many. There's a few here. He filed a complaint about excessive force as well against a cop during his arrest, I guess, or in prison. Yeah, I'm sure this one is also related. Put this in the chat. There's that one as well. All right, there you go. Moonlight View says, I've never seen Cold Justice. Really? Do you not get oxygen where you are in California? I think it's a great show. Um, Even if it is more entertainment than, but they said they have 50 arrests and something like 23 convictions based on their cold case reviews over 7 seasons of the show. So that's, although let's they've also had a bunch of cases that they've been involved with thrown out. They've I know at least 3 or 4 in the last 2, 3 years that on the show, they're like, "Hey, we did it. We arrested the murderer after 20 years of no change in this case. We finally got him. We got the murderer." And then you learn 9 months later, the judge threw out the case, released the person that was on a murder charge, basically saying that the circumstantial evidence was weak and the case can't proceed to trial. So they have a spotty history with, their claims. So it's a little, they've done a lot of good things, and that's why I like the show, but they've also rushed some cases as well, and they have fallen apart at a later stage. I wonder if that's why they're not showing you at the end anymore. Because they used to show you like the arrest of the person and then being charged with murder. But now they just sort of speak to the family and they're like, oh, yeah, the DA will do what they can. And they just end the show. So maybe it's to avoid what happened previously. All right. All right. We have a weird case out of what county is this? Christian college student charged with murder of another student. I find this interesting. We just had another student that was murdered like 2 days ago, and now we have another one. Let me grab the case file here. All right, here. Summer says the justice system is broken. In some regards, it is, yes. So apparently, student identified, suspect arrested after death of Campbellville University student. It says 21-year-old Charles Escalera. He's been charged with murder and burglary in the second degree. He is currently being held at Taylor County Detention Center. It says Campbellville University posted to Facebook just after 6 p.m. on Saturday that Escalera had been arrested by police and that the university is lifting its lockdown directive. The student has been identified and an arrest warrant has been issued for a 21-year-old man after the death of the university student. A release from the Campbellville Police Department says an arrest warrant has been issued for Charles E. Escalera for murder, and the student was identified as 18-year-old Josiah Malachi Kilman. The university confirmed on Facebook that Escalera is a student at the university. Authorities say that he is still at large. Well, he's not. He's been arrested now. The release describes Escalera as being 5'7", weighing 128 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a black jacket. No, we don't need to read that. He's been arrested. Let me just see here. A press release was posted on the university's Facebook page, which stated a male student was found unresponsive in their dorm room early Saturday morning. The student was taken to a Taylor Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. How the student died is still unknown at this time, and his identity has not been released to the public. Wow, let's have a look. Let's see if we can get to the Facebook page. Yeah. It says a male student was discovered unresponsive in their dorm room on campus in the early hour morning of Saturday, February 24th. The student was transferred to the hospital where medical professionals pronounced his death. The cause of death has not been determined. Local law enforcement are looking for the guy that got arrested. An official statement will be released around 10 a.m. today. So they're saying they're not releasing the cause or manner of how that student died. That's really sad. Let's see what else there is. Not much, just saying that they won't release the cause of the student's death or who the student was at this time. Oh, no, they did release that. It's Hosea or Josiah Malachi Kilman, 18. That's very young, 18. I'm just trying to see if we have a photo of Josiah. Yes, I do. Here. I don't know if this is the victim or the uh or the suspect. 21-year-old Charles Escalera arrested for the murder of 18-year-old Josiah Malachi Kilman. Man has been apprehended. Charles Escalera, age 21, is currently in custody at the Campbellville Police Department. Escalera was apprehended by Kentucky State Police after being sighted in a barn. This information was confirmed by the police chief. There's a photo of them, I guess, arresting him, and he's in a white protective thing, I think. This is the victim photo. Here, this is Josiah Malachi Kilman, 18 years old, and found unresponsive at his dorm room. How horrible. It says Taylor County EMS arrived and transported the male to Taylor Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased by Taylor County Coroner Daniel Cook. After that, they obtained the arrest warrant for 21-year-old Charles E. Escalera for murder. Just trying to see if there's anything else on here. Wow. There we go. So that was turned around very, very quickly. But what's with the killings on the university campuses this week? Last week was all Amber Alerts, and this week has been killings at campuses. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for next of kin to talk to, like family or something. Not a natural death. It's not a natural death when you arrest someone for murder. Only 18. It's very young. Probably if he's 18, that would be his first year at college, right? So he may be a new enrollment for this year. So he may have only been at that college for 5 months or something. Hey, Sean. Well, it's very not the story you want to read about. Freshman, yeah. Not very old. First year on the college. Just trying to see if there's any other information about either the suspect or the. No, I don't see anything else. Hosea or Josiah Kilman. It looks like there's not a lot of national coverage of this particular case yet, but they're saying that someone called someone called the sheriff's office and and the state police about 5:15 p.m. to report a suspicious male inside a barn on the Green Taylor County line. And that's when they found the wanted man Escalera. State police responded and took Escalera 21 into custody. He was to be taken to the Taylor County Detention Center where he'll be held on a murder charge. Yeah, Kilman's cause of death has not been determined. They're waiting on the coroner, the medical examiner. Yeah, it's okay. So they've had to take his body to Louisville for an autopsy, apparently, according to police. So that might take a day or two to happen. That's why we don't have a cause or manner of death. It might take a little while for them to get it back. But it looks like at some point they were actually like on a lockdown. See? Campbellville University. As a result, the university is lifting the lockdown directive. So when they found the guy dead, they actually put the whole campus into lockdown. So no one could move around. Everyone had to stay in their dorms or their wherever they were. Jeez. Here's a photo of the wanted guy on the campus. Looks like it all happened very, very quickly. This lady, Beth, says, "So tragic. This is my son Justin's best friend. Prayers to his family and all those grieving his loss. He was a special kid with a heart of gold and a smile that was contagious. He had a strong love for our Lord and Savior and freely shared his message. We love you and miss you, Jojo." That is very sad. That is very, very sad. Just a young kid heading off to college. We see stuff like that far too much. Far too much. Apparently, a GoFundMe account has been set up for the family. Raised quite a lot of money, which is nice to see for the family. They're saying, "In troubled times, we turn to each other for love and support. This particular day, our dear family is suffering a terrible loss. Joe and Jessica Kilman received the news this morning that their beloved son, Josiah, has left this earthly world and has gone to be with the Lord our Father in heaven." Not surprising that it's a very religious family with the name Josiah. It's a very religious name. There is no words strong enough to mend the broken hearts of this family right now. So we are all truly in shock at the abrupt and unexpected loss of Josiah, and we are asking for an abundance of prayers for them as they grapple with this devastating tragedy. And there's a whole bunch of like, what would you call this? Um, like Bible verses and palms. What do they call them? So there's a whole bunch of things they want people to read, which we will not do on this channel. We're not a religious foundation. Although I have nothing against it, we're just not a religious channel, that's all. I don't know. Yeah, so there we go. If I get more on Mr. Charles Escalera, I will let you know. But it looks like all this happened only in the last couple of hours. It says Campbellsville Police Department 3 hours ago. So not that long ago. There we go. At least he's been arrested. That was quick. But it's a weird call, right? Someone rang into the police because there was a suspicious person in a barn. I mean, that's what I always do when there is a suspicious person in a barn. I call the cops. He obviously didn't get very far, did he? If he was captured within like 2 hours. Hold on. Let me see if I can find anything else. No. Okay. No worries. That's fine. Actually, someone was telling me about another Amber Alert about a young girl. Let's see if it's active. Let's have a look. No, it's gone now? Only Elijah's one is up still. Huh. That's interesting. Hold on. Let me see. I want to check a link someone sent me. Where is it? No, that's not it. Does anyone remember an Amber Alert that was out in the last day? Maybe I'm going crazy. There was an Amber Alert about a young girl. I just can't find her name right now. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, put it in the chat, please. I remember reading the article. I just can't remember her name. I'm just going to check my messages because people send me stuff. Let me see if Mr. Roy sent it to me. Nope, it doesn't seem to be that one. I feel like I'm going crazy now. That apparently I'm just making up Amber Alerts. Okay, maybe I am just going mental. No, there is. Cecilia Alvarado. Amber Alert cancelled. Oh, they cancelled it. Okay. Well, that's good. It's nice. She was found alive, right? Let's have a look. Oh, good. It says Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez posted on X that Cecilia had been found safe. Details surrounding the incident haven't been released at this time. I won't read out the rest of it because she's 13 years old. She doesn't want her name splashed all over the place. Yeah, that was the one, DJ. Yeah, Cecilia Alvarado. I was like having a look for it. But thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to cover it if it was still active, but it looks like it's Elijah. They still haven't found him, and his Amber Alert is still active. Is there anything new today in the case? I don't know. Let's see.
Making a plea for someone. As police, firefighters, and a large number of volunteers conduct a search of the Two Rivers area for 3-year-old Elijah Vu, Elijah's family watches in disbelief. We spoke to the uncle making a plea for someone to come forward with information.
I mean, if they know where he is, we'd love to have him back. Other than that, we're as clueless as everyone else.
Pretty scary situation, I can only guess.
Yeah, definitely. definitely.
At one point, we caught up with police after items were found outside an apartment complex, but they wouldn't confirm whether those items belonged to Elijah. Many of those helping with the search for the young boy are parents themselves or work at the school.
And it's just terrifying because I work with kids, and it's like I work for the school district in here, and it's like, oh my God, this could be a little kid I can know. And it's just terrifying.
I couldn't imagine it being me in that situation. I would want as many people as can be to be looking for my child.
Search efforts even extended beyond the city as we saw fire trucks along County Road BB and ATVs searching farmland. Several boats were also launching from the Twin River Public Access. That's where we caught up with a volunteer who drove from Valders to help out.
There's people here from everywhere. I think every department in the county is out helping. Multiple people in all of Two Rivers community is out. I mean, there's staging areas at the church. The parking lots are full. The streets are full. And we've been here 15 minutes, and I bet 100 cars have gone by already.
Everybody just doing whatever it takes to find this little boy.
That's correct. Anybody's going to do anything. No one's going to sleep tonight until they have answers.
Completely dry, like salt or sugar. Okay. But dry to the point where
And that was a weird video. She's like, dry like the salt and the sugar. What the hell? Dry like the salt and the sugar? Okay. Hey, Penguin. Yeah, it's a bit of a slow Saturday night. Saturday night. Oh, okay. Police are warning of a fake rescue video. Is that what it is? Okay. Police warn of fake rescue video in the Elijah case. They're saying Elijah has not been located. We are aware of at least one fake video circulating social media that shows the recovery of a minor by officers. Again, beware of scams seeking your money and personal information, but also those now looking to take advantage of this unfortunate incident. Meanwhile, the search continues. They're saying, continue to contact our police department's business number with any localized food donations or, reward money or something like that. That number is 920-793-1191. So there you go. Apparently, in 2 days' time, we should know even more because Katrina and Jesse are due in to court on Monday again. All right. Nope, still haven't found Elijah. All good, Penguin. I hope you're having a good day. I don't really have anything to add about the Australian cases. It's been very slow this Sunday. There's been nothing in the Sydney double homicide. Oh, I do actually have something. I want to clear something up. The other day, the news said that the bodies of the couple, the two men, were in the van in Newcastle. They are not. They know the bodies were in the van at some point, but they don't know where the bodies are now. And they're still searching for the bodies of those two men. They're still looking for them. They don't know where they are, even though they have arrested what they believe is the murderer of the two men, which is that cop, but they don't know where the bodies of the two men are. I'm so sorry, I misreported that the other day. Just having a look if there's anything here about Samantha Murphy. Doesn't seem so, so we're going to give that a miss. I can tell you something interesting, local though. There's a man in Melbourne. His family are a very well-known rich family. They live in Kew, down near the city, and for many years their family have been known to throw lavish parties, and it's the Pratt family. So if you've never heard of them, they own, I think it's like packing, so like a packing empire. They had a private concert last night with Katy Perry. Katy Perry, they hired her to play at their party. That's how rich they are. They hired a superstar to come to Australia and sing 6 songs at their celebration. Some people have far too much money. They really do. I mean, I don't care how they spend their money. That's their choice. But there you go. I'm not going to unmute this, but you can see she had like backup dancers and singing California Girls or something. Some people in our world just have too much money. They really do. To be able to hire Katy Perry just to come out and hang out in Australia, sing a couple of songs. I found that a bit interesting, actually. Uh, they're saying here there's something about a decoy message in the murder of that couple, the 2 men. They said something about he sent a decoy message. Who's this guy? There's the killer. Where is the information? Uh-huh. Apparently here, police will allege the 28-year-old used Mr. Baird's phone, or Mr. Bard's phone, to send 2 lengthy text messages to the former Studio 10's reporter's housemates, claiming he was moving to Perth. It is believed Mr. Bard had been kicked out of the Paddington Terrace last week due to the messy state of the home. Mr. Bard's housemates informed him via text messages that a cleaner had been scheduled to arrive at the property on Thursday. In the first text message, Lamar Condon allegedly told the housemates he would collect the furniture and put it in storage because he was moving to Perth on Thursday. Lamar Condon then allegedly sent a second text message asking for the housemates to put Mr. Bard's furniture, including his bedhead, onto the street. One police source said the text messages initially made detectives think Mr. Bard was still alive. However, another police source labeled the message as an amateur attempt to justify Mr. Bard's absence. They appear to be quite amateur attempt at creating a story so people would not be suspicious when the victim never returned home. Well, he was a cop. Maybe not a great one, but he was a police officer. He knew what cops would look at. Yeah, then it says here, Lamar Condon then allegedly drove the van to a house in Newcastle on Thursday night before returning to Sydney the following morning, where a relative negotiated with police for the officer to hand himself into police. The van was found abandoned in Grays Point later on Friday, while police are continuing to search for the bodies of Mr. Bard and Mr. Davies. Originally it was reported that their bodies were in Newcastle in the van, but it seems like they found the van at Grays Point later after Lamar was arrested, and no men inside the van. So there's 2 bodies somewhere out there in Sydney, and they don't know where they are. And it hasn't been, I don't think anyone's found anything either. I think maybe the chat was right. Maybe the blowhole, Sean? Maybe something on the cliffs? Hey, Lux. Hey, Snapcrackle Pop. Good to see you. Snapcrackle Pop says, I've had a rough day. No better way to end my day than with all you and Ping. Thank you. I appreciate that. Actually, we had an update from... Where is she? Hold on, let me go back. It was from our friend of the chat. That's weird. Here. Leisha. You guys know Leisha. Leisha says, miracles happen. Lolly is coming home tomorrow. I'm buying a small hyperbaric chamber for her. So much to say, but we'll write more later. So her pet had become really sick and it wasn't able to breathe properly. And she thought she was going to lose her beloved pet. And apparently it has come through and has become more healthy. But apparently it's going to have a hyperbaric chamber at home for the poor thing. But she is coming home. So Leisha's very happy. So there's your update about our friend Leisha from the chat. Some good news after a week full of bad news. Snap crackle pop. I'm sorry to hear that. It's so many bad things all at once. All right. It really is horrible. Sorry you're having such a hard time. Oh, we have a Georgia man. Missing person. Let me see. Let me just check he's missing and he still needs help. Because I don't want to rehash stories if they're not needed. Okay. It says a man. Oh, we got to go. A man was set up to meet recruiters to attend boot camp. Sandy Springs police said he never showed up. There's a photo of him here. What he looks like with a beanie, and this is what he might have been wearing. Sandy Springs Police Department is asking for help in their search of a man who was supposed to meet with recruiters but never showed up. On Thursday, police listed Darius Burden in their system as a missing person. Officials said at the time of the report, authorities learned that Burden was set to meet with U.S. military naval recruiters to attend boot camp but did not show up. Sandy Springs police reportedly learned that Burden's family was contacted by recruiters concerning his absence. Later that day, SSPD said they found Burden's vehicle parked at 5590 Roswell Road in a parking dock. The address appears to be a plaza with various businesses, including restaurants and clothing stores. Officers said they found Burden's cell phone and a wallet left in the vehicle. According to the SSPD, no one has had contact with Burden since he left his apartment on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Burden is described as being 6 feet tall, weighs 171 pounds, and now has a short haircut. He has black hair, brown eyes. Police said Burden may have been wearing a Moschino jacket with black, white, and metallic gold Jordan 1s. Anyone with information is urged to contact Detective L.J. Pearson at 770-551-6939. There's another photo of him there. They're looking for this young man, but apparently he has these dreadlocks are gone and he has shaved head or shorter hair. And this is what he looks like with a beanie on. Do you think he's running from recruiters? But you can just tell recruiters to go away, right? This is not a draft. You're not obligated to go like in the 40s. You're not like, you're not draft dodging. There's no such thing these days in America, is there? I don't think there is anyway. There we go. That's the last story for tonight, everyone. I have to end it. Trisha's going to be on in about 5 minutes. And I don't want to... Oh, she's running behind. All right, fine. All right, fine. I'll sit here. I'll juggle a little bit. Maybe I will cook a souffle. I don't know. No, okay. Anyone interested in the Michelle Troconis trial for the murder of Jennifer Doulos? Both sides rested Friday. Prosecution didn't put on a rebuttal. Trial resumes on Tuesday. Thanks for that. Flying DJ says you are correct. It is voluntary, not mandatory service at this time. Yeah, they can bring it back if it's wartime or they need troops, but I know at this point it's if he didn't want to go through with recruiting, he could have just said, I've changed my mind. So unless he signed the contract, right? If he's signed the contract, he must go, right? Then he's a part of the US military at that point. There's no backing out after that. But it says he was just planning to meet with them. It didn't say he'd signed a contract. Otherwise, he'd be off to boot camp. He would have got a date where he had to basically attend boot camp. So I don't. It just says he planned to meet with them. Maybe he was just inquiring about becoming a military person. Sometimes you have to go through tests and psychological tests and health checks and things like. There's a bit of a process to it. So maybe he was just sort of inquiring into what he needed to do. Let's see. Darius Bauer. Let me see if there's anything else on this young man. Ah, interesting. It is. It says officials said at the time of the report, authorities learned that Burden was set to meet with U.S. military naval recruiters to attend boot camp. So I don't know. Again, they may have to clarify this a bit more. Had he signed his contract yet with the U.S. military, or was he just sort of in the beginning stages of talking about it? If he signed his contract, then he must go. Well, thank you, Reby. Actually, we ran out of thumbnails a couple of weeks ago, so thank you, thank you. It's very kind. I didn't want to bother you, that's why I didn't say anything. But Reby makes great thumbnails for the show. I mean, I could make them too, but they're not as good as Reby's. So what should we do? Shall I juggle for you? I have juggling balls. I really do. I hope you had a good night tonight. I hope it was an interesting show, even if it was a little bit of a slow slog to start off. I hope next week's episode of Cold Justice is a little better and that it has more of a detailed back history. But it was nice to see an episode of Cold Justice that looked at a case that wasn't really, super popular. They used to take a lot of cases that were really well known, and that was so they could get, obviously more people interested in the show. So it was really nice to see a case that was for the pure want of having to solve it. It wasn't for, it wasn't to make the show bigger. It wasn't to make everything more spectacular. It was just because this 89-year-old man deserves justice. And I really like that about tonight's episode. If you're not able to watch the episode, email me sundaywithping@gmail.com and I'll tell you a way that you can watch it. So if you would like to watch it, I can tell you how to do that. By the way, if you are in America and you don't have cable TV, you may still be able to watch Oxygen Network. Oxygen Network is now available over the air. So if you have an aerial antenna on your home, rescan your TV and you may pick up Oxygen channel for free. They actually are doing it over the airwaves now. So the one that you sent me? Yeah, we could do that. But yeah, I was so impressed that Kelly Siegler liked my tweet. It was my little brush with fame. All right, where's your thing? Let's see. Where's your drug dog one? Here. So this is from Mr. Gambler. It says California canine finds pounds of meth hidden in dog treat boxes during traffic stop. That's funny. They tried to put it in the dog treat, so if their dog smelt it, they'd be like, "Get away from the dog treats," but it really was drugs. It says California canine uncovered pounds of methamphetamine in an unlikely place, boxes of dog treats. The Sonoma County Sheriff's Office made a Facebook post about the incident on February 15th. The traffic stop occurred Tuesday when a sheriff's deputy stopped a vehicle driving through Petaluma. The vehicle was driven by suspect Angelina Gutierrez, 41, who was charged with felony transportation of a controlled substance. During the traffic stop, the deputy learned the driver had a misdemeanor arrest warrant out of Mendocino County and was told there was a methamphetamine pipe in the vehicle. So she was testing some of the supply while driving. Look at there's a puppy dog, and there is all the bags of meth. That is a lot of meth. Authorities said the deputy and his canine then conducted a sniff of the vehicle, suspecting narcotics. The canine was alerted to a box of dog treats inside the vehicle. The deputy then searched the vehicle and found the dog treat boxes contained packages of methamphetamine. The deputy also located additional packages of methamphetamine inside of cat litter box. Oh my god. In total, the deputy and his canine found 10 pounds of meth distributed in 10 bags. The police dog's efforts were commended by residents in Facebook post comment section. Everyone's like, "Good boy." It's probably the best that the canine officer doesn't know what became of his great work. Yeah, he probably thinks that someone stole all of his dog treats. Of all the places they hid it in dog treat boxes, hey, it may have worked out of 100 times, maybe like 15 times out of 100, the cop may have been like, "Get away from the dog treats," but not this time. They are going to jail. Let's see. Oh, this is from Vietnam. It's different. But there you go. There's a puppy dog. What a good dog. They didn't give the dog's name. Normally they do. They just said the canine. They didn't say it's like whatever they often have their like badge name on the dog, but not on this one. So there you go. Look at all those bags. Rudimentary trafficking. Yeah. Is he a German Shepherd? Is that what he is? Is that what that puppy dog is? I'm not sure. I don't know how long we're supposed to stay on for. I'll stay on until 35 past, and then I'll jump off. Give people time to head over to Trisha's. But yeah. I hope it was a decent episode. Next week, what is the episode for next week? Let's have a look. What is the episode? Oh, they're going to Abilene. That's Texas, right? Abilene, Texas. Let's have a look. Here. So the episode next week on March 2nd at 8 p.m. is called Silenced, and it's from Abilene, Texas. It says a cold justice team helped the Abilene Police Department investigate the heartbreaking double homicide of a devoted mother and her young daughter strangled in their own home. Can DNA evidence left at the scene identify a killer? Heartbreaking double homicide of a devoted mother and her young daughter strangled in their own home. Abilene, Texas. I wonder if we can find this case before it happens. Oh, okay. This one looks like it actually has a big backstory. So we may be able to do this one just fine. At least I think so. Okay. I'll do some more research in the coming days. Belgian Malinois. Okay. Oh, she won't go live till I end mine. So as soon as I cut here, she'll go live. She's watching for me to end this. So I said I would go at 35 past to give her an extra 5. No rush, but I am ready. Okay. All right, we're out of here. Guys, I love you all. Thank you very much for everything. I know I was a little crackly today, actually. I thought I had been better over the last few days, so a shame to see that come back earlier tonight, but it seems to have cleared up a little bit now. I will be back tomorrow night for Sunday Nights with Ping at 9 p.m. So tune in then. Tune in then for that'll be our final show of the week, the final one. And then yeah, that's the story I just found. I didn't say it on the air, but yeah, I'll do more research into that when we finish. Yes, tune in tomorrow night, 9 p.m., Sunday Nights with Ping. And hey, have a great Saturday night. And if you're about to watch Cold Justice at in about 25 minutes on the West Coast, enjoy the episode and leave a comment under this video and let me know what you thought about the episode, what you thought about my you know, my analysis of it, and I'll be back tomorrow. Hey Lola, see you later. But Lola, thank you very much for your donation yesterday. I'll put your name in the ending video for tomorrow, okay? Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let me end this. Let me get the finishing video up, and then we'll get out of here for the night. Love you all. See you later. Have fun at church.